guys, it's Chris, and this week for Movie Club we're watching the 2011 movie The Artist, which starred Jean Dujardin, Bernice Bejo, I think that's what her name was, James Cromwell, and John Goodman. So the movie it's a very interesting, unique, original movie for our time, because basically the whole entire movie was silent. It was set in the 20s, it's all black and white, and it is essentially a silent movie about like the absolute Mac Daddy of silent movie stars of that generation. He was like if you took Ryan Gosling and George Clooney and just smushed them up all together into a like molded actor of awesomeness. That would who George Valentine would be. So he was pretty awesome, and it was around about this time he was at the peak of his career, and the advent of the talkie movies was starting to come in, and he was very adamant that it was just a passing phase, it wasn't anything big, it was not the future of movies, so he was not willing to conform, and the movie essentially documents his downward spiral from being the star of silent movies and the rise of young Pepe Miller, who is basically the screen darling of the beginning of the talkie movies. And it's about how their two characters interact, how their careers go up and down, and about how movies evolved in that time period. And it was an awesome movie. I really loved it. Now the thing about this movie is it felt very much like a foreign film to me, and the fact that you couldn't really look away from it, you had to be watching the whole time, because since there was basically no dialogue that we could hear, you could see bits and pieces of dialogue, and obviously you could read the dialogue when it came up in the little dialogue squares, but most of it was all very much musical cues and visual cues, and if you looked away, you missed a lot of it, just like you do with foreign films if you're reading subtitles. So, and I love foreign films, so for me it was pretty awesome, and I loved it. I'm just trying to think. I don't actually really think there was any bits that I didn't like in the movie. I don't feel like it dragged. I felt like it paced really well. Or maybe it dragged a tiny bit as his career was sort of bottoming out. But other than that, I thought it just paced itself really beautifully. Now for me, I love watching sort of movies like this and looking for all the little visual clues that they have. I mean, yes, they make it quite obvious what is happening in a lot of the story, but there's just these really nicely shot scenes, like when Pepe's just signed with the movie studio and basically George has left them, and just sort of watching the way they pass each other on the stairs, and when they stop to talk to each other, she's positioned on a stair above him, whereas he's a lot further down, and it's very sort of telling of the fact that her star is on the rise and his is on the way out. And there were just a lot of these little clues throughout the whole movie that just kind of helped nudge you along in what was happening. I think probably one of the biggest ones was the amount of time that George was constantly being told to speak, be it in the beginning scenes of the opening movie clip that we saw of his, or when his wife was talking about how unhappy she was in their marriage, and the fact that he just won't talk to her about things, was very much kind of that continuing theme of the fact that, you know, unless he started speaking in the movies, he was eventually going to start losing parts, not really being considered sort of an interesting part of the movie environment anymore for people watching, and just kind of do what a lot of kind of it moment celebrities do these days and just run off the rails at the end. And yeah, so, but I thought it was great. Now for me, I actually think the standout, whilst George and Pepe's characters were great and their performances were awesome, for me the standout performance obviously goes to his dog. I think the dog's name is Augie the dog, was amazing, and I love him. And I remember when it came time for the like the Oscars and all the award shows, Augie showed up at a lot of them, and he was there on the red carpet, and he was just like a true professional performer, and I loved him, and I thought he was so great. I did worry a lot towards the end that when George had clearly stopped taking care of himself, was he making sure the Augie was being fed and walked properly? Because I don't know if he was. Fucking better have been. I mean, that dog, like, he owes that dog a lot. So, you know, there's that. I don't know. I just don't really know how else to describe the movie. I mean, the music in it is so, just not even just the music, but the whole sound of the movie is brilliant. And I loved the moment when George is having the nightmare when he realizes, oh my god, sound is the new wave for movies. And he, just that nightmare that he has where suddenly you can start hearing like all of the sounds around us, and one, you realize just how loud the world is, and two, it was such a jarring moment for us that you could understand how jarring it would have been for him in his nightmare, and I thought it was great. For me, another bit I really loved about the movie, and I know it was a tiny thing, but it did make me laugh every time I saw it, was the fact that his wife was clearly getting so pissed off with him, and the fact that their relationship was just going further and further apart in different directions, just like he was going sort of in a further direction away from sort of where the movie industry was evolving to, but just the way that she kept like defacing all of his pictures. God, I loved that. There's so many people I would love to do that to in real life. And I also found it really funny that at the beginning, when there was the, after Peppy had sort of first accidentally met George and she ended up with her paper, her picture in the paper, the way she was kind of using that as, look at me, I'm a celebrity, I'm a star, is so telling and similar to what goddamn reality TV stars do these days. Like, hello, Heidi and Spencer from the Hills. That type of thing. It's like, I did something stupid, suddenly I'm a celebrity. No, you're not. Although it did work out for Peppy in the end. But, yeah. Overall, would I rate this as a good movie? Absolutely. I don't think it's a movie for everyone. I think a lot of people are probably not going to like it because it is quite a niche type movie. I think I fit into that niche because I loved it. I probably will watch it again. I don't think it's one that I'm going to watch over and over again, but I definitely do want to watch it again. It totally makes me want to go and crack out some old Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers stuff as seen at the end of the movie. And yeah, I thought it was a really good movie. Awesome pick this week. Yay, thank you, Trisha. And that's pretty much all I've got to say for it. I really liked it. This was a submission for Sauce-Fed Nerd Movie Club. If you haven't been to check them out yet, I'm kind of surprised that you know who I am and that you're subscribed to me or watching my stuff, but I freaking love you if you do. So go and check out their videos. The review will be on Saturday. I may make it, I may not, we don't know. Depends what the editors are thinking and if I get my submission in on time. But yeah, I'm Chris, this was my review, and I will see you guys all next week.